Alrighty, everyone. Hello, hello. And you know what? As we're coming into the end of August, as we're coming into the start of September, we're also coming up on the Harvest Moon, which is not only one of my favorite game series of all time. God, I love Harvest Moon. But it is also the name of the September full moon. And that's because between August 1st, 15th, and, October 31st, Samhain, this is the harvest period. And this is the time of fertility, wealth, abundance, and all other things, because the main thing people are harvesting is, in fact, grains. Now, oftentimes when people look at things like Scott Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs or any other such kind of, plant-based magical grimoire, they're going to notice that a lot of these different grains like oats, wheat, buckwheat, amaranth, and any other kinds of seed that we like to harvest and eat, it's going to have to do very much with money, fertility, abundance, wealth, stability, even maybe protection. And that's because for the longest time that we have existed as an agrarian species, as a species that farms, yes, of course, many other crops are also helpful, right? Like our tomatoes and our cucumbers and our pumpkins and this and that and up and down. However, one of the quintessential symbols of wealth and abundance has always been those rippling fields of wheat. And you can see this symbolism literally everywhere, all over the place. In fact, like, my man is Ukrainian, and so when we think about the Ukrainian flag, just blue and yellow, well, here's the thing. What that represents is a blue sky and a bright, lush, golden wheat field, because Ukraine was considered and still is the breadbasket of Europe. All that black soil, they produce a lot of food. And it's a big deal culturally. And the thing is, wheat, again, it shows up in so many places, even in the Bible, where Jesus makes all these parables about the wheat seed, right? The sower who sows his wheat, and all of his wheat comes up, separating the chaff from the wheat, right? The wheat is the stuff you want, the chaff is the stuff that gets kind of filtered out. In fact, if you've ever seen someone actually handle wheat after it's ground, if you've ever seen people handle rice or any other kind of grain, you notice that it always makes those fun little floopy stalks, and that in order to get what you want out of it, you really have to beat it up quite a bit. You have to really beat it up and let the wind blow away the lighter chaff so you get that wheat seed at the end. In fact, even when it comes to stuff like amaranth, which is a pretty high protein grain, something like millet, you'll see that there's a lot of red stuff in here, but that red stuff isn't really what you're eating. What you're eating is the stuff that comes out. And you have to constantly shake it and really, work really hard to get all these fluffy bits out so that you can actually access all of the grains that are within all that. Grains are really hard to get, processed and get out like that. So all of this isn't stuff that you eat. In fact, this needs a lot more processing. But once it is, then it becomes something that you can actually boil, make into porridges, right? There's, millet groats, there's the buckwheat porridge. I have a lot of recipes that have to do with stuff like this. Rice itself obviously makes porridge, so does oats. Literally, porridge means oatmeal, I think, in the UK. So these are things that they have a lot of fiber, a lot of nutrients, a lot of minerals, and they feed people for a long time. They can be stored in many different ways. That wheat becomes flour, becomes bread. It's just the symbol of wealth, abundance, and most importantly, food security, which is what wealth meant once upon a time for most farming populations. We make our concepts of wealth and money very abstract in these days and ages because, nowadays it has to do with that paper dollar bill with those silver coins. And not even that, but just the number on your bank account when you open up your bank app. But in reality, gold, the sun, and also wheat are always connected as these ideas of life, vibrance, fertility, and stability, security, food. Because what exactly are we using our money on? Shelter and food. These are the things we need to stay alive. And given that this is the harvest season, this is where you really want to take advantage of all of that ages, centuries and centuries and centuries of so many different cultures, symbolism in these grains, right? So yes, the grains themselves, of course, they have that capability, but they have that capability because we have associated with them this capability. What people don't understand about magic is that a lot of it is association. This is why the Bible is a powerful spell book. Not just because that obviously the things in there match your intentions, your like psalms and everything else, but because millions and millions and millions of people for centuries and centuries and centuries have poured their faith, trust, and belief into the Bible and have made it an incredible, incredible spell book. Likewise, wheat, of course, it sustains, it grows, it nourishes. And because we know it does that, and because we prize it so much, we continue to bolster the energy around things like wheat, oats, rice, buckwheat, corn, and anything else. Just today, in fact, I made some cornbread, which includes wheat and corn, and I made it on, the Thursday of the waxing moon, in a time when the Sirius star is lining up with the sun in Leo. This is not only just cosmically energy for abundance, but then you have cornbread, which combines two separate grains and things like honey, cinnamon, and spicy peppers into what can effectively be a frickin' bomb of an object for gaining prosperity, power, protection, passion, creativity, and all these other things. But the grains in there are really that bedrock, that symbol of wealth and stability. So when you look in your cupboards, don't look at them and think, oh, it's just oats, or oh yeah, whatever, just a bag of rice, just flour. Each of these tools, if you have them in your cupboard, can be used for some incredible magic. And they can be used in so many different ways. You can bake your own bread, sure, but you can also make pancakes, waffles, muffins, pound cakes, cornbread. Just throwing a little bit of flour into a dish for a roux incorporates wheat. Just throwing a can of corn into your salsa or into your chili. Congratulations, you've just activated a grain. Boiling rice, making like rice to put on the sides of your dishes. There are so many places that grains appear. And so knowing that, there are endless uses of this in your magic. Hell, you could even start taking pasta, crackers, or anything else you want, anything that has to do with wheat as an ingredient. Suddenly, you have an insanely powerful tool for building wealth and abundance. So if you are on your last pack of instant ramen noodles, that's still a helpful object. If you're saying, oh no, this is it, and like, I don't have any spell items to make money, all I have is this instant ramen back at... The instant ramen is still made out of some kind of grain. And that grain, when you focus on it, when you use it as a spell ingredient, when you use it as a kitchen witch, can still help you achieve more opportunity, more stability, more wealth as you go on. Don't take for granted these things that look so simple, when in reality they carry behind them the weight of thousands of years and millions of people's hope in the grain that created them. No matter what religious belief you are, no matter, who you follow as a witch, whether it be someone like Demeter, who's all about the grains and the harvest, whether it be someone like Sola, or, Luch, or any of these other more sun-associated or just outright sun gods who are connected to fertility, doesn't matter who, the fact is that the crop at the end of the day is still some kind of grain, wheat, corn, something, that then becomes a part of the stuff that you're eating. The Ritz crackers that you're eating, the instant ramen that you're eating, the, simple sandwich that you got from the gas station. If it's made out of wheat and not out of alien goo, congratulations. You can use that for a quick money spell. There are so many different energetic things that come into play with magic, and clawing onto the energy of all that have come before you, as well as the energy of the tools themselves, is a great way to focus your own power and achieve things that maybe without that symbol in front of you, you weren't thinking you could achieve before, but you always could. You always could. So, as we come into this harvest season, do not look down on the humble bag of all-purpose flour. It can do a lot more magically than you think, and I really suggest you try making a few dishes. I will link a few of my favorite ones down below that use wheat. Try them out, have fun, think bread, think harvest, think festival, and enjoy. See ya.